may I please be excused from class?
Well, Kyle,
Yes.
you hear me? You go to
Hack.
you go to
Hack.
you.
Have a great day. Hey there, HackerFrogs. It's me, the Shy Hat. And we're here to do HackerFrogs Extra Credit today. We're doing an extra session of our HackerFrogs program, taking a look at web app hacking. And today we're going to be doing our extra credit associated with the first class for web app hacking. But before that, let's say hello to the people in chat. GX000, thank you very much for coming by and saying hi. You say that it is too hot. Well, normally I wouldn't be running a fan in my office, but it is very hot over here in Vancouver. So if you hear any fan noise, I apologize for that. But I don't want to roast alive over here. It's just kind of what has to be done. But before we get started today, let's take a look at what we learned in web app hacking workshop number 1. GX000 says, my unit alleges it has aircon, but it doesn't go below 21 degrees Celsius. I think right now it's about 22. Well, that's something you're going to have to bring up with your what is it called? Landlord or the building manager. I'm not too sure, but I'm sure you've got a bunch of fans running in your apartment as well. Property manager, that's right, that's right. So what did we learn in last time, the last workshop, which happened on Monday? Well, first of all, we talked about lateral problem solving. So the most important skill to develop in cybersecurity is researching. We're talking about Google and ChatGPT, which are two powerful research tools, and we have to use them wisely. Let's talk a little bit about what else we're going to be doing in today's stream. So we're going to be going over a lot of picoCTF challenges. Also, we're going to be going over two big hacks from recent times. We're going to be talking about hacking history, and we're going to be talking. Let me pull it up. So in the last hacking history installment we did on the stream, we took a look at the Colonial Pipeline hack and the Sammy Worm hack. This time, we're going to be taking a look at SolarWinds as well as the Morris Worm. So these are two really high-profile hacks. We're going to be talking about them and their impact when they happened, what happened to the hackers, and all that juicy drama that happens with these big stories. But that's going to be in the second hour of the stream. In the first hour of the stream, we're doing web app hacking. So we also talked about directory indexing, which is also known as directory listing. It's a vulnerability on websites that allows users to see file contents of web directories, which can lead to sensitive data exposed to arbitrary website visitors. And the last thing we learned in our introductory web app hacking workshop was robots.txt. Robots.txt is a special file included on certain websites that indicate which files in a site can and cannot be indexed by search engines. It can be abused to point malicious users to sensitive parts of the website. So these are the three big techniques we're going to be using to solve our problems today. So let's take a look at the platform that we're going to be using to solve these challenges, and that is picoCTF.org. If you do not already have an account on picoCTF.org, go ahead and make one. I'm leaving the link in the chat for everybody to take a look at. But otherwise, we're going to be jumping into our first challenge of the day. And if you want to take a look at a list of all the challenges that we're going to be solving today, you can find them over at the HackerFrogs GitHub repository. And that's going to be in After School Web App Exploitation, and then Extra Credit number 1. So this is the list of challenges we're going to try to accomplish today. If you ever get lost, or if you just want to do these on your own, you can go ahead and try these. But we're going to be starting off with the first challenge of the day, which is, where are the robots? So if you're here and you've already completed these challenges, just let us know. And maybe we might skip a couple of challenges that other people have already completed. But we can't skip them all. All right, so this one is located at this URL. So after you've logged in, you can navigate to this URL and take a look at the challenge. So I will do that myself. Okay, so this challenge is called, Where Are the Robots? It's an easy web exploitation challenge from picoCTF 2019, and the description says, where can you find the robots? So it says, can you find the robots? And there is a link over here, which leads to the website that we're going to be inspecting. So I'm going to leave a link to that particular website in the chat, and we're going to navigate to it ourselves. Okay, so each one of these challenges is going to ask us to visit a certain website and then try to obtain the flag on that website. And after we've obtained the flag, we can come back to this page and we can submit the flag in this field right over here and then click on the Submit Flag button. All right, so we're going to navigate to this website over here, and it says, welcome, where are the robots? So what's the first thing we can do to try to inspect a web app and test it for security vulnerabilities? Does anybody know? So for any of these challenges, you can go ahead and try to race me to the flag. And if you're able to get the flag and submit it before me, please let us know in chat, and you can feel good because you know your stuff. All right, so the first thing you can do after you've arrived on a web app that you want to test is you can inspect the HTTP source, and you can do that with either. Notes by Nisha says view the source page. Okay, yes, you can certainly do that. So we can right-click and then select View Page Source, and then we can take a look at the page source over here, and it might have some clues as to where to get the flag. So the clues would be something that might be insecure about the website. In this case, there's an interesting little Easter egg over here. That's the font is called Roboto over here, and the challenge is called Where Are the Robots? So that's kind of funny. So this challenge can be done by taking advantage of the fact that we know about the robots.txt file. So where do we find the robots.txt file? Does anybody know what the endpoint might be? So to find the robots.txt file, what we need to do is we need to look at the endpoint right here, and we need to tack on to the end robots.txt. Notice Manisha has it correct. And remember to make it robots.txt, not robot. And then it's going to give us this disallowed directory over here. It's not a directory, it's a web page. And this is the web page that is going to contain the flag. So once again, manipulate the URL over here, get rid of robots.txt and insert this file right here. And this is the flag we're looking for. It says, guess you found the robots. So let me inspect this page right here. So I guess there's nothing else here except for the flag. We can highlight the flag with our mouse, copy it, and then go over back to the picoCTF website and paste in the flag over here, then click on Submit Flag. Okay, so I've solved this challenge before, so we solve it again. If you haven't already done so, after you've solved the challenge, you can click back into it, and then you can click on the Upvote button right here. So these are free challenges, and we have to show our appreciation where we can to the challenge makers. So we're just going to click on this Upvote button over here, and that's going to show just a little bit of appreciation. Okay, so that one is done. So let's move on to the next challenge. The next challenge is going to be includes. So the includes challenge can be found over at this link, and I'll provide the link in the chat as well. This challenge right here is includes. GX000 says, just a note, this works because this is a challenge, but in the real world, the robots.txt file should only be present in the root of the URL. Oh, yes, that's true, that's true. So you're not going to look for the robots.txt file in any other location except for the root of the web page, or the website rather, because that's where it's supposed to be. That's where it's supposed to be placed. But thank you very much for that note, GX000. Okay, so this is the includes challenge. So let's take a look at it. It's an easy web exploitation challenge from picoCTF 2022, and it's got the inspector tag over here. So that kind of clues you in as to what might be the solution to this challenge. So it asks, can you get the flag? Additional details will be available after launching your challenge instance. So everybody, a lot of the time in these newer picoCTF challenges, the flags are individualized, which means that you can't use another person's website. Well, you shouldn't use another person's website because they're all individualized over here. So you want to click on the Launch Instance button to start up your own instance of the website. And the reason why you don't want to use other people's instances is because the flag is going to be individualized and you're not able to submit other people's flags. So we can visit the website, just right click on this and put it in a new tab. And this button this website over here, let's take a look at what's on the web page. So it says here, many programming languages and other computer files have a directive often called include, sometimes copy or import, that causes the contents of a second file to be inserted into the original file. These included files are called copybooks or header files. They are often used to define the physical layout of program data, pieces of procedural code, and or forward declarations, while promoting encapsulation and reuse of code. So this is from the Wikipedia article on include directive. Okay, so what do you think might be, so this description here talks about includes, and includes is kind of similar to import when you're using Python. So if you're using Python to use code from another Python file, you would use the import keyword. So I think includes is a keyword that is part of the PHP programming language or some other programming languages. So over here, there's also this conspicuous button right over here. We can click on that, say hello, and the pop-up over here says, this code is in a separate file. So that means that this web page right here is using another file for its code. So how can we find out about that? We can probably look in the source code to try to locate some clues. So we can use the Control-U keyboard shortcut to view the source. So what other files are indicated on this page? So we've got a style.css file over here, which probably isn't what we're looking for, because CSS files don't usually have programming instructions really. It has more formatting information. But we have this file over here, which is called script.js. So because there's no other files that are indicated on this in this code, this is probably what we're looking for. So we can right-click on this and put this in another tab. And then on this page, there is the so this is, I think this is JavaScript over here. So function greeting. So this is a function, and this is a JavaScript alert. This code is in a separate file. So this is what, yes, JavaScript. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, GX000. And this code is in a separate file. This is what this is the code that was executed when we clicked on the button from the original website. So, but this is not the whole flag. This says 2 of 2. So this is interesting. So we can copy this, and we know that this is the second part of the flag. So I'm just going to copy this over to my notepad, and then we need to look for another file. So where do you think the other file could be? Does anybody have any suggestions? So it could be in this file right here, because there's only 2 files that are inside this code. There's this style.css file. So we don't usually look for security stuff in CSS files, but once again, this is a CTF challenge, so they're probably going to be hiding stuff everywhere. So we can put this in another tab and take a look inside. And so there's this code right here, but there's this comment over here, and this is the first part of the flag. So we can copy this along with the other part of the flag that we got, and that forms this flag. So I'm not sure if this flag is going to work for you should probably use your own flag, because there's a chance that you're not going to be able to use this flag, and it'll say something like you're trying to cheat if you try to submit this flag. So this challenge is done. We can go back to our picoCTF page, and then GX00 is calling me a cheetah. Well, that is a bold claim. So okay, so I've got a bunch of these redeem videos and all I have to say to that is this.
Hide the planet! Hide the planet! Shut up and get it.
Okay, so everybody, after you've copied your flag, the two parts of the flag, you can go down to the flag submission field over here and paste in the flag, click on Submit Flag, and you are done. All right, so everybody, if you finished the Includes challenge, please type in the chat, I feel included, and some smiley faces, and maybe in OS Frog if you are in Twitch chat. And of course, after you're finished with the challenge, click back into it and then click on the thumbs up button over here. All right, and that is done. Okay, so let's take a look at our next challenge. And the next challenge is Pico Inspector. Pico Inspector. All right, let me copy that URL. And I'm not sure if we did this one on Monday or not, but we can probably kind of zoom through it real quick, even if we did. GX000 says, I feel sweaty. Well, I hear you. It's something like 29 degrees out here today, isn't it? I don't know what that would be in Fahrenheit, but we can ask. 29 degrees Fahrenheit, Celsius to Fahrenheit. That is 84 degrees Fahrenheit. It's pretty hot. Okay, so inspect HTML. This is the next challenge. This is an easy web exploitation challenge from picoCTF 2022. And it also has the inspector tag. Did we solve this already? Anyways, okay. Inspector, oh, so the last one was called includes. Okay, this one is called inspect HTML. Azaria Jones says, I feel included. Okay, thank you very much for speaking up, Azaria Jones, and welcome to the chat. All right, so this one is called inspect HTML, and let's launch this instance. And notes by Nisha, I know you've already completed this, but we'll probably be done with it in just a few minutes. So for the other people in chat, we're going to solve this challenge over here. And once again, it'll have a link to the website. You just need to right-click that and put it in a new tab. And this one over here has a historical article over here. And it probably doesn't have anything to do with the challenge, but of course, one thing we can do is we can inspect the HTTP code, the HTTP source. So you can right-click and click on View Page Source, or you can use the keyboard shortcut Control-U. So this is a very, very straightforward challenge. You'll find the flag directly in the HTTP source, in between these two comment tags over here. So all you need to do is copy this, and then go back to the picoCTF page, and submit this in the field. Click on Submit Flag, and then don't forget to click into the challenge again and upload the challenge. All right, so that was super quick, and I guarantee that the next one is not going to be as easy. So the next challenge we're going to be covering today is called Scavenger Hunt, and Scavenger Hunt can be found at this URL. Okay, so let's take a look. Scavenger Hunt is an easy web exploitation challenge from the picoCTF 2021 event. And the description says, there's some interesting information hidden around this site. Can you find it? Okay, so since everybody has access to the same website over here, it doesn't matter if you use my link or not. So let's open up the website. and take a look at what is here. So this is a website with a couple of links. So it says, so there's one link here, there's one link here, and so the first thing we want to do is we want to, so everybody, let's make this one a little bit of a contest. If you want to race me to the to getting the flag, and if you're able to submit the flag before me, go ahead and tell us in chat. Otherwise, I'll just go about at my own pace and explain how to do this. But if you want to challenge yourself, go ahead and try to race me to the flag. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we want to inspect the web page. So Control-U keyboard shortcut over here, and let's scan the code over here for some different locations inside of the website. So instantly we see that there is a piece of the flag over here. It says here's the first part of the flag, and it's got this right here. So we're going to copy this little portion, and we're going to keep it somewhere safe. I'm just going to copy it to my notepad, and let's take a look at what are some other locations on this website over here. So we see that there is this link right here. So this is never going to be part of the CTF because this is a Google domain. Otherwise, there's mycss.css over here and myjs.js. So there might be 3 parts of the flag if these are the files that we need to inspect. So we're going to click this in the new tab and click this in the new tab. Let's take a look at what is in mycss.css. So if we just take a quick look around here, inside of the comment here, Notes by Nisha says, I don't know where to find part 2. Well, this is part 2. This is part 2 right here inside the CSS file, mycss.css. So it says CSS makes the page look nice, and yes, it also has part of the flag. Here it is. So this is going to be part 2. So we need to copy this part, and we need to put it along. We need to paste it alongside the first part, and then we're going to look for the third part of the flag. And I suspect the third part of the flag is in this file over here, myjs.js. So this is myjs.js. So there's actually no part of the flag in this file over here, but there's also a comment, and the comment says, how do I keep Google from indexing my website? Does anybody know the answer to this? Because this is a big clue as to where the last part of the flag is. So the answer to how can I keep Google from indexing my website is our good friend robots.txt. So this is a reference to robots.txt, and that means we could potentially navigate directly to robots.txt and get ourselves a piece of the flag. So this one is part 3, but it looks like there's an extra part. There might be a part 4. And it says disallow index.html. It says, I think this is an Apache server. Can you access the next flag? So I'm copying this part of the flag over here and pasting it alongside the other ones. So it says this is an Apache server. Can you access the next flag? So what is a file that is specific to an Apache server that could be part of the flag? Does anybody know? So I'm going to try to navigate to this endpoint. So this is just some boring HTML. Do you like my website? I use these to make the website: HTML, CSS, JavaScript, JS. So, well, if we don't know what is specific file on for Apache servers, I think there is a specific file that is that only Apache servers use, which is called htaccess. GX000 says headers. Headers? What about the HTTP headers? So are you talking about sending a specific type of HTTP header to the website? Okay, so what we could do is we could try to access this via curl, and we might get something from the curl output, right? So I'm going to copy this. Yeah, just curl it. So everybody, let's demonstrate how to use curl with very, very, very verbose. That could be it. Okay, so everybody, to open up curl, we need to use our command prompt. So if we're using Windows, we use the command prompt over here, right? And here we can make this nice and big. Can we make this nice and big? Let me see if I can make this big. Hold on. Where are the options? Oh, settings, okay. So settings, I'm going to make the font a little bit bigger so everybody can see. Where's the font? Appearance. Is there a font size? Oh, okay, I don't want to spend too much time looking at this. Okay, so inside of here, what you can do is use the curl command. And curl is a command line interface program which can be used to access websites. So generally all you need to do is use curl and then the URL of the page you want to access. But there are a lot of different things you can get from curl, and curl is a very powerful program because you can use it to send web requests with a lot of different arguments and different. So if you were to use curl with the double V on this website, and we go up to the top over here, it says here that we got this information when we accessed the website. Okay, so I don't see anything inside of this this header over here. I think I'm gonna try my htaccess theory over here. So scavenger hunt, right? I'm going to try accessing the .htaccess file. That's it. Okay. So this .htaccess file is a file that's specific to Apache servers, and this is the fourth part of the flag. I'm going to copy this, and then there's one more file that we need to access, and it says, "I love making websites on my Mac. I can store a lot of information there." So the question is, what is a what is a file that is specific to Mac, to websites that okay, so I think I know the answer, but I'm not too sure how this connects. So it's how this actually connects. So there's a specific file for Mac OS, and the file is called .ds_store. So let me ask our good friend ChatGPT about this. And so everybody, I found this website over here, which is called Chatbot Arena, and Chatbot Arena lets you get output from multiple LLMs at the same time. So you do ChatGPT 4.0 as well as a bunch of other chatbots over here. So this is something we're going to be making use of in our next segment. So I'm going to ask, what is the .ds_store file, and we're going to get an answer. So it's a hidden file created by the macOS operating system. It stands for, so it's present in every folder. So this is a file that it can appear in any directory that has been accessed by macOS Finder. Okay, so it's kind of an index file. I'm not exactly sure. I'm not very familiar with macOS, but this is probably something that I want to do a little bit of research on a little bit later. But my theory is that this is the answer right here. So let's go back to the website, and we're going to go to .ds_store. Not found. Wait, did I spell it incorrectly? .ds_store. Let me get the capitalization on that. Okay, that's it. So GX000 says this would have to be an intentionally misconfigured server to have any of this to be a problem. That's true. Pretty sure in real life it's the yeah. So you have to sometimes spelling capitalization doesn't matter, and sometimes it absolutely matters. So in this case, you absolutely have to spell it the correct way. So this is the last part of the flag. All right. So let's paste this to the end of the flag string. This is what the flag looks like when it's all been assembled together. And let's go back to the picoCTF page, scavenger hunt, paste in our flag, click on submit flag, and we are finished. Okay, so if you finish that challenge with us, please type in egg hunt and let's see, and some smileys, because I love seeing smiley faces in the chat. Thank you very much. And remember to click back into the challenge and click on the thumbs up button over here to show appreciation. So this one, people didn't like it as much as some other challenges, but yeah, you had to do a little bit of stretching the truth to arrive at these answers. Okay, so everybody, let's move on to the next challenge. So after scavenger hunt, we're going to do inspect HTML. Inspect HTML. These all have a very similar name. So I'm going to paste this one into the chat. This one should be easier than this challenge over here. Okay, so this one is Inspect HTML. It is an easy web exploitation challenge from picoCTF 2022, and this also has the inspector tag. So the challenge description says, can you get the flag? Additional, have we solved this already? Did I paste this one in twice? Or is it that all these challenges have the very similar sounding names? Anyways, okay, so if we've already solved it before, let's solve it again. So we'll click on Launch Instance to start up our website. And then we have our website right here. Before we start solving this challenge, I'm going to start deleting some of these tabs because I don't want everything to get a little bit too cluttered. All right, so we're going to right-click and put this in a new tab. We've already done this. Sorry, everybody. Okay, so we're going to do the following challenge. This one is called Search Source. So this is the link for the next challenge, Search Source. And this is an easy web exploitation challenge from picoCTF 2022. So it says, the developer of this website mistakenly left an important artifact in the website source. Can you find it? Okay, so this is another challenge where you have to click on the launch instance to start up your website. So go ahead and do that. So what I really like about picoCTF is that the VMs associated with these challenges, they spin up super quick. And they only last for about 15 minutes, but each one of these challenges should be solvable in 15 minutes or less. So the website is here, so go ahead and click into your own link. So I'm going to put it in a new tab. And this one is some sort of fitness website. Okay, so it says flexed, and we have a little hamburger menu over here. It's got different sections of the website. So this is some yoga stuff. All right, and there also seems to be some sort of feedback form over here. So we can send this, and does it do something? It, well, it seems to have submitted the message. Okay, and we also have, wow, we have a Google Maps link here as well. That's great. Okay, so everybody, what should we do to start solving this challenge? So we have the website here. Let me make that a little bit smaller. And we have a bunch of links. So of course we could start looking at the HTTP source. So we're going to look into this. So we've got a bunch of different websites right here, a bunch of different web pages right here. So there are these different websites. There are these different pages right here. These CSS files, we've got a few of them. And let's see. So these ones are outside of the picoCTF domain. So these probably are not part of the challenge. We have an images folder over here. So we have a lot of different places that we can start looking for the flag. So everybody, once again, if you want to race me to the flag, go ahead and try, and I would be very, very happy if you're able to beat me to it. All right, so this is probably the index.html file right here, but we can check all the other files that are located in this source code as well. So this is probably not going to be it over here because this is a Google domain link. So we have these JS files over here. So we can look into each one of these. So is there some sort of picoCTF flag in here? We could start searching for the term pico, and that's not going to appear. So I guess this is not what we're looking for. So we can look into each one of these one by one. Okay, so let's start looking for pico. Nope. GX00 asked, do you ever use Chrome tools? I actually don't use Chrome tools, but is there a Chrome tool that would help me out with this? So custom.js, owl.carousel. So all these different JS files over here. Which tool could potentially help me out in this case? Okay, so GX says, I think if you load all the files in the network tab, you can search all of them with Control F. Oh, That's something we could try. Okay, so what we would do is go back to this page and then go to our developer tools, more tools, developer tools, and then in here, what we can do is we can go to the network tab, and then we can reload the page, and this is all the network traffic that is received on loading the page. So how do we search? Can we search everything in here? So do we search in this filter? I'm not too sure. So maybe we can click in here, do Control F, and search for Pico. Or maybe the full string picoCTF. Oh, this is all called picoCTF. This doesn't help us at all. Okay, so I'm going to picoCTF and then give this open bracket. Okay, there we go. I think we found something. So this one was found in style.css. So the style.css page over here has this thing right here. And this is the flag we're looking for. Wow! Thank you for the tip, GX000. So it's found in the style.css page, which we can navigate directly style.css. Oh wait, did I get the path wrong? Wait, let me look at the style. Oh, it's in the CSS directory, of course. Okay, and this one has picoCTF right here. But that was a great little trick, GX000. Thank you very much for that. So copy this, and then we're going to go back, and we're going to submit the flag. Submit it by pasting it in. And we are done. GX00 says, I live in Chrome DevTools. I definitely see how it can be very helpful. All right, and upvote the challenge, and then we're going to move on to the next one. This was even, well, for me, it was even more difficult than the scavenger hunt challenge. All right, let's move on to the next challenge. And this one is called Local Authority. So I'm going to provide the link in chat, and I'm going to navigate to the page myself. So everybody, if you were able to finish off what was that one called? Finish the search source challenge. Please type source was searched in the chat. And let's play a fun little video. Let's see. This one is called Go to Hack.
Mr. Hat, may I please be excused from class?
Well, Kyle,
Yes.
you hear me? You go to
Hack.
You go to
Hack.
and you
Have a great day. All right. So the next challenge is called Local Authority. Source was searched. Hey, nice to see. Notes by Nisha. Thank you very much. Okay, so that one was, so this one, Local Authority, is an easy web exploitation challenge from picoCTF 2022. They all seem to be from picoCTF 2022 today. So this is another inspector challenge. Can you get the flag? And I guess we need to start up our instance. This is the website right here. Let's navigate to it. Okay, so here it says secure customer portal, only letters and numbers allowed for username and password. Okay, so I guess we can put in our username and a password. I'm going to put in test. And then I'm going to try to log in. and then it says login failed. So we see we're on this page right here called login.php. This is this, I don't think we landed on this page, but it says login failed. Let's take a look at the source for this. So it says here there's some sort of JavaScript function over here. And I think it might be looking for a very specific username and password if we're going by this JavaScript code over here. But it also references this script right here, which is called secure.js. So we could try looking inside of these two files, style.css and secure.js, to see if there's any additional clues. So secure.js says if username is exactly equal to admin and password equals strong password, this over here, return true, otherwise return false. So this is hidden credentials. Well, rather hard-coded credentials that is available on a public file. So this is another security no-no. So we know that the admin is the username, and strong password, this over here, is the password. So we copy the password, and we're going to go back to the login page. We're going to reload this. Actually, we're going to go back to the landing page. So we know that the username is admin, and the password was the password we found. Paste it in, and then click on login. Okay, and now we're done. picoCTF, this right here is the flag. Copy that, and then submit it. Submit flag. Hooray, you solved the challenge. Awesome, awesome. Okay, so don't forget to upvote the challenge. This one was more interesting than some of the other ones were a bit too simple. So we're going to upvote this. That was nice, and I think we have time for a couple more before we finish off this this portion of the stream. The next challenge is called Roboto Sans. So I've got my link over here, which I am pasting in the chat, and judging by the name of the challenge, we can expect that it probably has something to do with robots.txt. But the description here says it's an easy web exploitation challenge from picoCTF 2022, and the description says the flag is somewhere on this web application, not necessarily on the website. Find it. Additional details will be available after launching your challenge instance, so let's launch our challenge instance. Okay, so now we have our website to check out. We can open it up. We've seen this website before, but is this... Okay, so I guess we're looking at this website again. Okay, so because the name of the challenge is Roboto Sans, we're going to look for the robots.txt file. But before we do that, we should probably take a look at the source just to make sure that there's nothing super special over here. GX000 says the links you post only work if you have a Pico account. If you post the saturn.picoctf link, everyone online can access it. Oh, okay. Let me grab that for... You can try. You can. Well, I mean, the thing is that I'm a little bit concerned that the flag might be personalized. In which case, you, if you're not my account, then you can't use the flag. But let's get to that bridge let's cross that bridge when we get to it. Okay, so over in here, we suspect that there is a robots.txt file, so let's navigate to it. Okay, so it says disallow CGI bin, but it also says think you have seen your flag or want to keep looking. Is that a question? I'm not sure. But we also have this. So we also have this WP admin disallowed section over here. But more notably, we have this kind of what appears to be gibberish right here, but it's not gibberish. It is actually what looks like base64 encoded information. So if you were to come across something that you suspect might be encoded or encrypted, you could copy it, and then you could ask a chatbot what they think about this. So, what do you think this is? And then submit the encrypted string on the next line. And we're going to send this, and we're going to see what these chatbots think. So let's see. It says this looks like it could be a combination of a file name and small fragment of the path. This appears to be base64 encoded, and this gives flag1.txt. And then this section right here, this is another base64 encoded string, and it gives JS myfile.txt. So this third portion right here, it looks like this part could be random text or be an obfuscated string, but it doesn't suggest a pattern. So this says that there's a file called flag1.txt and js/myfile.txt. So we could start looking for these. The other chatbot didn't. It also picked up on this js/myfile.txt. And it also found flag1.txt. So just in case you were wondering, so the first chatbot over here is Claude 3.5 Sonnet. And so Claude is another famous chatbot that's being developed. And the other chatbot is ChatGPT 4.40. So let's do what the chatbots recommend and go over to the website. And it was JS, what was it? js/myfile.txt. Okay, and this is the flag right here. It's picoCTF. Who doesn't like robots? That's a good question. Who doesn't like it? Okay, so we can copy this and we can submit this as a flag. All right, click on Submit Flag, and don't forget to upvote. So to everybody who's wondering, I actually do use ChatGPT quite a bit, or not just ChatGPT, but other chatbots while I'm solving CTF challenges, or when I'm trying to find different ways to achieve different little programming problems. And it's perfectly fine as long as you accept the fact that ChatGPT isn't always right, and you shouldn't use these chatbots as a crutch to substitute learning on your own. Okay, so let's go back to the next challenge. And the next challenge is called Don't Use Client Side. And it is located right over here. Okay, so this one's called Don't Use Client Side. It's an easy web exploitation challenge from picoCTF 2019. And it asks, can you break into this super secure portal? And it has this link right here. So I'm going to copy the link and provide it to everybody in chat. Okay, so let's navigate over there. So this is a secure login portal. Enter valid credentials to proceed. So we can do a test and click on verify, and it says incorrect password. So we know that there's some file out there that creates this alert message. So we should probably try to look for that. We can look at the source for this file. So there's an mb5.js file over here that's being referenced. So we can put it in another tab and we can look at it later. And it looks like there's a flag in here. So there's picoCTF, and I think this might be, this is JavaScript. So we could probably run, I'm not super familiar with JavaScript, but we could probably run this code and get the string that way. Or we can, I was just talking about not using ChatGPT as a crutch, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask ChatGPT what this code does and what the string is. So I'm going to ask, what is the completed string that this code prints out? This code not prints out is looking for. And then provide the code inside the box and send that. And we're going to get a response from both of the chatbots. And it looks like the first chatbot over here gives us this string right here. picoCTF, no clients please. And the other chatbot also got the same thing. So we can copy this and use this as the answer for please don't use, don't use client side. All right, so paste it in, click submit flag, and we've solved this challenge. All right, so everybody, let's do one more challenge before we finish off this portion of the stream. And the last challenge of the day is called Pico Secrets. So let me provide the link to everybody in chat. Okay, so what is picoSecrets? picoSecrets is an easy web exploitation challenge from picoCTF 2022. We have several pages hidden. Can you find the one with the flag? Additional details will be available after launching your challenge instance. So click on Launch Instance. And the website is running here. Going to put it in a new tab. Oh, this is it's a lot of stuff on this page. If security wasn't your job, would you do it as a hobby? That's a good question. Okay, so we have a web page, and we have some sort of image right here, and we have 3 different pages. We have the home page, we have the about page, and we have the contact page. So we should start by looking at the source code for this page. GX000 says, I do it as a hobby. Well, it would be nice if we didn't have to do anything as our job and everything was our hobby. That would be nice. So an interesting thing right here is that the source code for, the source for this particular JPEG file, which is probably the one that appears in the background, is in this secret directory right here. So we could probably manually navigate to this directory to see if we can see anything inside of this secret directory. So let's go over to the home page and then navigate to the secret directory. Does it not want to let us in? Okay, so it says it refused to connect. I'm not sure if this is an actual connection problem. So secret/assets. Maybe we can try secret/assets instead. Okay, so let's try going directly to this file. Put this in the new tab. Okay, so that this is the JPEG file. So let's just strip off this JPEG right here. So this is forbidden. This is forbidden. We can't see inside this directory, and that is perfectly fine. And we're in the secret directory, and it says, "Finally, you almost found me. You are doing well." And it's got this meme from Parks and Recreation. Okay, so let's take a look at the source for this file then. And the source for this file says, so the reference for this one is hidden, the hidden directory, and it's file.css. So this is another directory we could potentially look at. And it says, "You almost found me, you're doing well," and it has this, so this is probably doesn't have anything to do with the challenge, because this is an outside domain. So that part doesn't matter to the challenge. But let's look inside this hidden directory right here. So let's look at this file directly first. So we're gonna directly navigate it to in this tab right here. So file.css, there's nothing inside here, but if we inspect it, we also see there's nothing inside here. But we can go directly to the hidden directory. And then there's this other directory that's being referenced here called super hidden. So we can try going there. Okay, so let's go to the super hidden directory. So right click that and put it in a new tab. And there doesn't seem to be anything here. So instead, let's go to the super hidden directory directly by getting rid of the file name. It says, "Finally, you found me, but can you see me?" So this probably means we need to inspect the source code one more time. And this is the flag right over here. So picoCTF success something something. We copy that, and this challenge is done. So we had to look in a lot of different locations to find this flag. Let's go over to the web page, and we can submit this flag. Okay, and we've solved the challenge. Don't forget to upvote. And if you managed to finish that challenge along with us, please type in the chat, "secret no longer." And if you're in Twitch, you can give yourself you can also include a cool cap, which is this emote right here. And all right, so that about wraps it up for today's web app hacking practice. We used a few simple techniques to conduct all of these to solve all these challenges. We used. Let me take a look. So we knew about robots.txt, so we knew how to look for that. We also did directory indexing, which is navigating to directories directly and trying to suss out their contents. And we also did a bit of lateral problem solving, where we started looking in other directions when our direct approaches were thwarted. But thank you very much to everybody who solved these picoCTF challenges along with us. And what's a good way to end out this segment? Okay, so let's, I have so many of these. So this is my favorite bird. This is called the Stellar Jay. This is the West Coast version of the Blue Jay. So Blue Jays are light blue, and these Stellar Jays are black and blue. And just in case anybody wants to see what a Stellar Jay looks like up close, GX000 says, my favorite bird is the peregrine falcon. Well, I mean, you don't see falcons very often in the city, but these guys you can see in big wooded areas, and they are super cute. So this is the difference between blue jays and stellar jays right over here. Okay, so everybody, let's move on to our second part. I've only seen one in the wild here. Are you talking about the falcons? So our second part is going to be talking about big hacks, so hacking history. And to get ready for the segment, we're going to start playing our music again. Ah, that's soothing. Everybody, if the music is too loud, let me know, and I'll turn down the music a little bit. I'm going to change out my my displays. So we're not doing picoCTF prep practice, we're doing hacking history. Oh, I do not like these voices. Okay, so hacking history, and we're taking a look at SolarWinds. GX000, do you know very much about SolarWinds? You don't? Okay, so we're going to be learning about this together. Oh, that doesn't fit. Let me adjust this. Okay, that looks better. Alright, so everybody, this is the segment where we take a look at big hacks from history. The SolarWinds hack was a big hack that happened back in 2020. And we're going to be, oh, you do know about the Morris worm. Okay, yeah, so we're going to be looking at the Morris worm after we take a look at the SolarWinds hack. And the SolarWinds hack happened in 2020, and it was probably considered one of the biggest hacks in history at the time. Although I guess it didn't happen too long ago, so it's still probably one of the biggest hacks of all time. So we're going to be answering some questions. Hacking history. So everybody, if you want to take a look at the questions that we're going to be answering, it's in this GitHub file over here. So this is the SolarWinds hack, and we're researching it today. We're going to answer these questions. What happened? When was the hack discovered? How long do we think hackers were operating before the hack was discovered? Who was the target of the hack? How was the target initially compromised? What other hacking methods were employed? What was the impact of the hack? Was the hacker identified? How confident are we of attribution? Was the hacker punished? If so, how? What is the hacker doing now? Did they engage in other known hacks? What was the response to the hack? What makes this hack famous? And what were the lessons learned from this hack? All right. So everybody, let's, so there are a few different sources of information we'd like to go to when we're doing this segment right here. One of them is good old Wikipedia. So I guess you could say that we're using public search methods. You could say that we're using OSINT to answer our questions. So this is SolarWinds. And it's also called the 2020 United States Federal Government Data Breach. Is this SolarWinds? Yeah, this is SolarWinds. Okay, so what happened? So according to Wikipedia, in 2020 a major cyber attack suspected to have been committed by a group backed by Russian government penetrated thousands of organizations globally, including multiple parts of the United States federal government, leading to a series of data breaches. The cyber attack and data breach were reported to be among the worst cyber espionage incidents ever suffered by the US, due to the sensitivity and high profile of the targets and the long duration, 8 to 9 months, in which the hackers had access. Within days of its discovery, at least 200 organizations around the world had been reported to be affected by the hack, and some of these may have suffered data breaches. Affected organizations worldwide included NATO, the UK government, the European Parliament, Microsoft, and others. The attack, which had gone undetected for months, was first publicly reported on December 13, 2020, and was initially only known to have affected the US Treasury Department and the National Telecommunications Information Administration, NTIA, part of the US Department of Commerce. In the following days, more departments and private organizations reported breaches. The cyber attack that led to the breaches began no later than March 2020. The attackers exploited software and credentials from at least 3 US firms: Microsoft, SolarWinds, and VMware. A supply chain attack on Microsoft Cloud Services provided one way for the hackers to breach their victims, depending upon whether the victims had bought those services through a reseller. A supply chain attack on SolarWinds Orion software, widely used in government and industry, provided another avenue if the victim used that software. Flaws in Microsoft and VMware products allowed attackers to access emails and other documents, and to perform federated authentication across victim resources via single sign-on infrastructure. In addition to theft of data, the attack caused costly inconvenience to thousands of SolarWinds customers who had to check whether or not they've been breached, and take systems offline and begin months-long decontamination procedures as a precaution. U.S. Senator Richard J. Durbin described this cyber attack as tantamount to a declaration of war. President Donald Trump was silent for days after the attack, before suggesting that China, not Russia, might have been responsible for it, and that everything is well under control. Okay, so this was a really big hack, and let's start answering some of the questions. So let's go over to our GitHub page and start editing this. Can I make this bigger? Yes, I can. Lovely. Let's make this a little smaller, actually. So what happened? The SolarWinds software was subjected to network The SolarWinds network was breached by hackers, and malware was introduced through updates to the Orion software. This software was used by many large companies and organizations, including US government departments and big corporations such as Microsoft and VMware. Okay. When was the hack discovered? So I'm going to say that I get my information from Wikipedia, so I'm going to leave this little mark right here. When was the hack discovered? So the hack was reported on December of 2020. Was it December 13th? Let me take a look at the article. December 13th. Okay. So December 13th. Okay. So this is December 13th, 2020. I guess we can call this the first report. And we got this information from Wikipedia. And the question is, how long do we think the hackers were operating before the hack was discovered? So the article said that the hackers had access to networks as far back as 8 or 9 months before the announcement of the hack. So that's probably somewhere around March, since March 2020. So that's about 8 to 9 months. Also from Wikipedia, who was the target of the hack? So many SolarWinds customers, notably US, which departments? Okay, so federal government, multiple parts of the US federal government. Microsoft, VMware, and etc., etc. Okay, and this is also from Wikipedia. So everybody, if you have any questions about this hack, or if there are any questions you want me to ask or search up about this hack, go ahead and type in chat. This would be great if it could be a little bit of a conversation. Although I would like to answer all these questions. I really appreciate any insight or any questions you might have about this topic. So how was the target initially compromised? What other hacking methods were employed? So we could ask our chatbot friends. So we've got Claude and we've got ChatGPT, and we can ask them what method was used for initial compromise in the SolarWinds hack. I should spell hack correctly. Okay, we're going to send that. The initial compromise in the SolarWinds hack was achieved through a supply chain attack. Okay, so they say supply chain attack, and most people, it's well known that that SolarWinds is a very good example of a supply chain attack. But how did they get into SolarWinds in the first place? Is what I'm really interested in. So supply chain attack. Okay, this is not the answer I'm looking for. But how did the attackers initially compromise SolarWinds before the supply chain attack? Send. Okay, so it says here that the exact methods by which the attackers initially compromised SolarWinds environment has not been definitively disclosed, but several theories. Okay, so they're guessing credential theft or exploiting vulnerabilities or third-party access, spear phishing. So so ChatGPT says it doesn't know, but it has some theories. And Claude says that this is also not publicly known. So I guess it's pretty safe to say that this is loud. Let me switch to another music track. Okay, so I guess we could say that we don't know how SolarWinds was initially compromised, so we're gonna use that as the answer. How's the target initially compromised? We don't know. And I got that from Claude, and I also got that from ChatGPT. All right, so next question is, what was the impact of the hack? So we know that Let's see, methodology, discovery, responsibility, impact. Okay, let's take a look at the impact. So SolarWinds said that of its 300,000 customers, 33,000 that's a you pronounce this number 33,000, right? 33,000 use Orion. Of these, around 18,000 government and private users downloaded compromised versions. Discovery of the breaches at the US immediately raised concerns that the attackers would attempt to breach other departments, or had already done so. Further investigation proved these concerns to be well-founded. Within days, additional federal departments were found to have been breached. Reuters quoted anonymous US government sources saying, "This is a much bigger story than a single agency. This is a huge cyber espionage campaign targeting the US government and its interests." Alright, so compromised versions were known to have been downloaded by Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, Justice Department, and some utility companies. So SolarWinds affected a lot of really big targets. Through a manipulation of software keys, the hackers were able to access email systems used by Treasury Department's highest-ranking officials. This system, although unclassified, is highly sensitive because of the Treasury Department's role in making decisions that move the market, as well as decisions on economic sanctions and interactions with the Federal Reserve. So, even where data was not exfiltrated, the impact was significant. The Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency advised that affected devices be rebuilt from trusted sources, and that all credentials exposed to SolarWinds software should be considered compromised and should therefore be reset. Anti-malware companies additionally advised searching log files for specific indicators of compromise. So an interesting thing about the SolarWinds hack is that the source that started talking about being compromised initially was FireEye, which is a really big cybersecurity company. So let's look for FireEye in this article. So first reporter is FireEye Coordinated Vulnerability Disclosure. So the interesting thing is that FireEye discovered that their networks had been breached because they noticed some fishy activity going on in their network, and the very fact that FireEye had been compromised was kind of a big deal, because FireEye is supposed to be FireEye is a cybersecurity company, so they should. But I guess nobody could have really anticipated this kind of attack, because everybody uses this Orion software. So what is the Orion software? Let's find out. So SolarWinds Orion. So we're looking for. Okay, well, let's just ask our GPT friends. What is the SolarWinds Orion software? Why was it so prevalent in so many different large organizations? Okay, so the answer coming in is it's a comprehensive IT infrastructure monitoring and management platform. Okay, so I guess if you have a lot of devices in your IT network and in your inventory, then you'd be using SolarWinds Orion to help manage them. So it does network performance monitoring, server and application monitoring, network configuration management, bandwidth analysis, log management, and analysis. So this is so I guess for any large organization that wants to keep track of its devices, and all the devices inside its network. They would be using some sort of management tool like SolarWinds or Orion, which is why so many large organizations were compromised through the SolarWinds Orion supply chain attack. Okay, so let's answer some more questions. So what was the impact of the hack? Data theft and compromise. I guess, you know what I really want to do? I want to get a very succinct answer. So let's ask the GPTs. What was the impact of the SolarWinds hack? Please limit your answer to 3 sentences or less. Okay, so the SolarWinds hack had a massive impact, compromising numerous government agencies, including part of the U.S. Department of Defense and State Department. Large corporations gave attackers potential access to sensitive data and systems across these organizations for months before being discovered. The breach shook confidence in software supply chains and highlighted the vulnerabilities in widely used IT management tools, leading to increased scrutiny of cybersecurity practices globally. So, well, the problem is that you can't really stop somebody in some company in your supply chain from being hacked. What you can do is you can scan all of the updates to these pieces of software that you use inside your organization for vulnerabilities before implementing them inside of your organization. But that can prove like very difficult, because sometimes these pieces of software push for updates, and you don't know exactly what is inside of the update. But because there's all this assumed trust in these companies, that can potentially lead to big supply chain attacks like this. Okay, so I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to use this as my answer for the article over here. Whoops, that was not. It's this one. And I got this one from Claude. Claude? Yes. Okay, the next question is, was the hacker identified? How confident are we of attribution? This is an important thing as well, because it's been attributed to a few different entities. So let's go back to Wikipedia. So, responsibility. Conclusion by investigators. SolarWinds said it believed the malware insertion into Orion was performed by a foreign nation. Russian-sponsored hackers were suspected to be responsible. U.S. officials stated that the specific groups responsible were probably the SVR or Cozy Bear, also known as APT-29. FireEye gave the suspects the placeholder name UNC-2452. Incident response from Velexity called them Dark Halo. On December 23rd, 2020, the CEO of FireEye said Russia was the most likely culprit, and the attacks were very consistent with the SVR. One security researcher offers the likely operation date, February 27th, 2020, with a significant change of aspect on October 30th, 2020. In January 2021, the security firm Kaspersky said Sunburst resembles the malware Kazauer, which is believed to have been created by Turla, a group known from 2008 that Estonian intelligence previously linked to Russian Federal Security Service, or SFB. Alright, so From the article, it seems that Russian-sponsored hackers were likely responsible, but nothing was confirmed. I guess nothing can really be confirmed. So, likely, Russian state-sponsored hackers. And how confident are we of attribution? Well, it said that they were highly confident. And we got this from Wikipedia. Okay, so was the hacker punished? If so, how? Okay, let's ask this question to the GPTs. Was the perpetrator, is that how you spell it? Of the SolarWinds hack punished in any way? So this is probably no. While there has been diplomatic consequences and sanctions imposed on Russia, no individual has been specifically arrested or prosecuted for this attack. Punishing state-sponsored hackers remains challenging due to the issues of attribution, jurisdiction, and international relations. So the other chatbot, which is ChatGPT, says the perpetrators of SolarWinds have not been publicly identified or punished. Okay. No. No, they were not punished. What is this hacker doing now? Did they engage in other known hacks? Not enough information. Okay, what was the response to this hack? Well, my guess is that they did a big cleanse of all the systems that were affected by the malware, and then they started taking supply chain security a lot more seriously. But I think let's take a look at the article over here. So there's impact. We're not necessarily looking for impact, we're looking for response. Ah, okay. Investigations and responses. Okay, so there's no real simple thing that I can get out of this part of the article over here from Wikipedia. So I guess I'll ask for a summary from the GPTs. What was the response from the affected organizations of the SolarWinds hack? Restrict answer length to 3 sentences or less. Okay, so respond to the hack by disconnecting compromised systems, conducting thorough security audits, and implementing enhanced cybersecurity measures. Many issues public statements acknowledging the breach and working with cybersecurity firms and government agencies to investigate and mitigate the impact. This incident also prompted a widespread review of supply chain security practices and policies. Okay, that sounds like a pretty good answer. And I got this from ChatGPT. What makes this hack famous? Okay, so this is a pretty open-ended question right here. regarding the SolarWinds hack. What makes this hack unique among other large hacks of the past? Okay, so it seems that ChatGPT limit has been reached, but the other model is still working. Okay, so supply chain attack. So I guess the scope of this supply chain attack makes it really unique. And next, the scope and duration. Okay. So affected thousands of organizations worldwide. Okay, stealth and sophistication. Okay, the malware was exceptionally stealthy. Malware was exceptionally stealthy. Alright, next. Fundamental reevaluation of software supply chain security. So we could say impacted supply chain security practices. More scrutiny. That's how you spell that one. Okay, and all this was supplied by our good friend Claude. And lessons learned. I guess lessons learned and what makes this hack famous is very similar.
Hack the planet!
Hack the planet.
Hack the planet! Shut up again!
Alright, so GX000, did you learn some new stuff about SolarWinds during our exploration of this? I guess the big lessons learned in this hack were supply chain security is tough, and don't trust updates that you haven't verified. So one thing about SolarWinds is that people grew to distrust updating their software, which is kind of the opposite of what you want people to do. I'd heard of it before. You'd heard of it before. Didn't know the deets. Well, I'm pretty sure big cybersecurity shows like Darknet Diaries. They're probably going to do episodes on SolarWinds eventually. But so GX000, do you have any particular big hacks that you think would be good to cover in other installments of hacking history? We've already done Colonial Pipeline, and we did what was it? The Sammy War. But we're doing GX000 says they still distrust updating software. I kind of yeah, I'm actually I don't want to admit this, but sometimes I go for a long time before I update my software because after I update my software, I don't know whether or not my stuff is going to work anymore. But all right, and maybe one more thing: supply chain security is tough. Don't trust updates that you haven't verified. And the last thing would be the fappening. Oh, the Sony hack. Okay, wait, the Sony hack and the fappening are different things. The fappening was Apple I don't know if I want to bring the this stream into that direction. They're very different things. Yes, the Sony hack was about the Dictator movie, right? So the North. Well, I mean, we don't know for sure. Why? Wait. So North Korea can be pretty confidently identified as the perpetrators of the Sony hack because didn't they tell Sony? Didn't they communicate to Sony that they were not happy about the Dictator coming out? There's also the Facebook hack and the LinkedIn hack. I don't know too much about the Facebook hack or the LinkedIn hack. So I'm gonna have to do a little bit of research regarding that stuff. So okay, let's finish off this one by asking what are 3 big takeaways we can learn from the SolarWinds hack. So you have the Facebook DB somewhere. DB, the database. I don't know if you want to advertise that. Okay, so supply chain security is critical. Assume breach. Oh, okay, assume breach mentality. Random people calling me. I could look up their real names on Facebook. Oh, that's okay. Well, that's interesting. So okay, so assumed breach mentality. I actually haven't heard too much about this. I guess that's where you just assume you've already been breached. It's all on the web now. I don't think it's illegal to possess. Okay. Okay. I'll just drop it there. Okay, so we finished editing this file over here. We're going to commit the changes. If anybody wants to take a look at what we committed to this file, you can take a look at it at this link right here. And we're going to move on to our other target of the night, of the afternoon, of the day. That's going to be the Morris worm. So the Morris worm is a very different beast. So let's start learning about this one. So Jeff could probably tell us a little bit about this one. I've listened to a couple of podcast episodes from some different shows talking about the Morris worm, but I wouldn't say that I'm an expert on it or anything like that. So let's look this up on people. Some people are going to be real upset that the only sources I use for these segments is stuff like Wikipedia and ChatGPT. It's one of the first, if not first, worm. Oh, that's true. Yeah. That's we can put that at the in the impact lessons learned stuff. So Morris worm. So this one is way back. So this is the Morris worm, internet worm of November 1988. One of the oldest computer worms distributed by the internet, and the first to gain significant mainstream attention. It resulted in the first felony conviction in the US under the 1986 Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, and was written by a graduate student at Cornell University, Robert Tappan Morris. And it was launched on 8:30 p.m. November 2nd, 1988 from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology Network. So that's MIT. So let's see. So this is a long article. Let's have our GPT friends summarize this. What happened in the Morris worm incident? Keep your answer to one paragraph or less. Okay, so I can't use ChatGPT anymore, so I'm going to replace ChatGPT with something else. ChatGPT will be replaced by let's try Gemini. So Google Gemini, where is it? Google Gemini 2.7. Okay, so the story of the Morris worm. Limit answer to 2 paragraphs or less. So to anybody who's new, who's just tuning in right now, we're using this this website right here to compare chatbot answers. So we can plug in any chatbot we want on this page, and we can compare the answers from both of them. Okay, first computer warrants to spread across the internet, causing widespread disruption in November 1998. Created by Robert Tappan Morris from Cornell University. The worm exploited vulnerabilities in Unix systems, including a flaw in the send-mail email program and weak password security. It was designed to infect each machine only once, but a programming error caused it to reinfect systems multiple times, leading to system crashes due to overload. The incident affected an estimated 6,000 computers, which was a significant portion of the internet at the time. The aftermath led to the creation of the first computer emergency response team and resulted in Morris being the first person convicted under the U.S. Computer Fraud and Abuse Act. Okay, so error more like did not consider the results of his decisions. Well, I agree that what it sounds like is that Morris created the worm. I think he created it as part of a, what do you call it? Like a doctorate project or something, some sort of really big university project. And he wanted to point out the security flaws in these Unix systems. Only he didn't code the worm in a correct way, which means that that all the systems end up being unusable because of the infection of the worm. Okay, so let's sum this up. What happened? Morris wrote and distributed a computer virus from the MIT campus, which then infected most of the computers on the internet at the time. 6,000 systems. Yeah, he coded a check to see if the computer was already infected, but he didn't want sysadmins to just return yes. So, like 10% of the infections, he said, install a copy anyways. So it would propagate even if the worm was already present. Right. So he turned up the, so there were initially checks to make sure that, no. I think it was coded so that it would only try to reinfect systems for every 7 installations or something like that. But he decided to turn down the number of times that it would have to loop before trying to reinfect the same system. So that's what led to the code reinfecting systems over and over again, and then taking up all the memory space and the hard drive space on these computers. Infected most of the computers on the internet at the time, and rendered a lot of systems, inoperable. I swear I speak English as a first language. Okay, so when was the hack discovered? It was discovered almost immediately. It was probably discovered within hours. So let's take a look over here. So it was, I would say that the hack was discovered within hours of initial launch, initial infection on the network. So by the next morning. Okay, the next question is, how long do we think hackers were operating? How long do we think the hackers were operating before the hack was discovered? Not long. So hours. Okay, so who was the target of the hack? That was the initially the MIT computer network. Okay, so how was the target initially compromised? So the target was initially compromised through, let's ask. What was the initial vector of the Morris worm? So was it the email service or something else? It's thinking. The Morris worm did not spread through email. Okay, the initial vector was exploiting vulnerabilities in Unix systems network services, remote login, okay, R login, finger service, send mail. Okay, so the finger protocol, remote login, and send mail. Okay. So I'm just gonna copy this right here and use this as the answer. It says not email and then says send mail. Well, I guess they wanted to distinguish it from other types of mail. Anyways, so let's. Okay, so what was the impact of the hack? So most of the internet was taken offline. Was the hacker identified? Boy, was he ever. We are very confident of attribution because he admitted to it. Was the hacker punished? If so, how? So I think Morris received a prison sentence. So I'm pretty sure he was the first person who got a prison sentence. So let's see. I guess effects. Morris was tried and convicted of violating the US State Code, this over here, Computer Fraud and Abuse Act. He was sentenced to 3 years probation, 400 hours of security, community service, and a fine of $10,000. Okay, let's copy this. He got probation, I think. Yes, that's what the article says. And this is according to Wikipedia. What is the hacker doing now? Did they engage in other known hacks? So is Morris still alive? I'm pretty sure he's still alive, right? Let's take a look at. He's got a Wikipedia article as well. found some more info on the actual exploits used. So the interesting thing about the Morse worm is that it only works on a very specific build of Unix system. So he's a PhD. So he's a, let me see. So he's 58, okay. So he became a researcher? Oh, that's ChatGPT. What did Morris do later in life after his sentence was completed? Yeah, it targeted DEC CISC systems. I'm not super familiar with those. So, a successful career in computer science. He earned a PhD from Harvard University and worked at various technology companies, including Google and Cloudera. Became a professor at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, where he taught computer science and cybersecurity. Okay. Let's copy this. So this GPT as well says that very similar things. So I guess we could say that this is relatively accurate. Historic send mail possessed a debug mode for verifying whether mail reached its intended destination. Part of the implementation was shell escape functionality that could be used to run arbitrary commands. Since the commands would be a part of the mail message, the headers had been stripped in order for code execution to proceed cleanly. While this was the early days of the internet, where people didn't assume that that people would abuse the systems, so it's kind of like the reason why Vim and Vi had so much code execution. Well, it still does. It still does have like a lot of code execution functionality. But for people who do offensive security like me, all I know is that terminal text editors like Vim and Vi can be used for privilege escalation. You miss the old days. Well, I mean, well, the thing about the old days is that you can't get them back. Those early days in the internet where you could get into any website by doing like the same SQL injection string. What was the response to the hack? So, question: what changed in computer security due to the Morris worm incident? You're older than SQL injection. Well, I mean, if you're no, I'm pretty sure, like, I mean, how old is the SQL programming language? It can't be, it has to be pretty... Let's ask GPT. How old is... Okay, it's been around since the 1970s, so I don't think you're older than SQL injection. Unless you're... I don't know. Unless you're older than, like, 50 or something. Where were we? Okay, we're asking, so development of security tools, increased awareness, improved security practices. Okay, so these are good things right here. let me copy this stuff. The first published information on SQLi was in 1997. Maybe the NSA was doing it before that, but most people didn't know it before about it. Yeah, well, this is these were the type of dark rituals that were known only to hacking forums before, you know, we all decided that security research should be shared. So before, you know, people would share their hacking techniques, and they wouldn't share them. They would only share them with very select people. So that was security in the dark, I guess you could call it. So thank you very much. What was it, Gemini? This was from Gemini. Anyway, what makes this hack famous? This was the first worm virus. The first hacker conviction, and the first time the internet was taken offline. So I guess we could ask for about 3 big lessons learned from this incident. What are 3 big lessons to be learned from? It's thinking. Unintended consequences of code. So the great thing about software developers is that software developers only want their code to work, and unless they're forced to, they'll never think about security implications. Because the most important thing about a program is that it works. And the second most important thing about a program is that it works. So if there's no program in place and there's no company making a product, then there's no need for security, because then the product doesn't exist to be secured in the first place. So interconnectedness breeds vulnerability. The worm's rapid spread across demonstrated how interconnected systems could amplify the impact of a single vulnerability. Unintended consequences are real. Morris's intention was to gauge the size of the internet, not cause harm. However, his experiment had devastating consequences. Security is an ongoing process. I like this this answer better. So I'll copy that. And I will copy critical importance of cybersecurity. So people, I mean, I'm guessing people paid more attention to cybersecurity after this, but people actually giving a damn about cybersecurity took a really long time. Maybe the NSA was doing it before then, but most people didn't know about it. Yeah. Critical importance of cybersecurity. And third one, maybe we'll say the value of a coordinated response. The value of a coordinated response revealed a lack of preparedness for large-scale cyber incidents. I guess this is true, but this was not something that was happening on a regular. This was unprecedented at the time, so they couldn't really have known too much about this particular point. The value of a coordinated response. I guess we could also say that unintended consequences are real. That's another really big takeaway we could get from this. All right, everybody. It's been a lot of fun doing research on these 2 big hacks. So that was the Morris worm and SolarWinds. I'm going to commit these changes. And if anybody wants to take a look at this file that we made up, you can catch it at this link right over here. So what are we doing? So today we did CTF challenges with picoCTF, and we also took a look at hacking history. If you want to know about what we're doing for the rest of the week, you can find it over at the HackerFrogs Reddit, which you can see over here. And just for fun, I'm going to... This is actually a favorite of mine. Go to hack.
What are you?
I'm system root.
And maybe this one as well.
Mr. Hat, may I please be excused from class?
Well, Kyle,
Yes!
you hear me? You go to
Hack.
You go to
Hack.
and you do.
Have a great day. So this week we're going to be doing one more stream, and that's going to be on Friday, and it's going to be happening at 8 p.m. and go for maybe a couple hours. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do the last free Hack the Box starting point machine, which is called Unified. That one is that was a lot of fun. And then we're going to be doing some hacking development. We're going to be brainstorming an educational cybersecurity game with LLM help. So we're going to be thinking up a little game that we can develop to get people interested in cybersecurity, and we're going to see how much we can use LLMs to help us write the code and to create assets for the game. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a very laid back kind of portion of the stream. But I hope everybody can show up for that as well. It's going to be happening a bit later than the usual streams. It's going to be happening at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you want to join in, you want to grab some drinks, I might be having a couple of beers during the stream. Although it's not going to help it's not going to help my concentration too much. Dev Suthar, hello, and good morning to you wherever you are. You're catching us just in time for the end of the stream. But I hope you can. If you're interested in what we did in today's stream, you can go ahead and watch the VOD after it goes up, after the stream is over. Let's take a look at who's online. We like to send people over to other cybersecurity-based streams. There's another cybersecurity-based stream going on right now. Let's take a look at what they're doing. Oh, I can check it out on Twitch. Hold on. Let me copy this person's URL and see what they're doing. Okay, so this person says, hacker coder man doing hacking kinda. Alright, and it looks like they're a small stream. What do? They do ethical hacking with some gaming on the side. Okay, so they're doing some coding, okay. So anybody who's interested, we're going to be rating that channel just now. We're going to rate them, and if you're on Twitch, I would very much appreciate it if you could join in the raid. We're trying to garner some support amongst us cybersecurity streamers, and we'll see you on Friday. If you're up for streaming on Friday, have a great rest of the week, everybody. We'll see you next time, and don't forget to hack the planet.